Hello and welcome, each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCT Center, and also I'm true speaker, healer, energy worker, guide, mentor, co-creator, galactic ambassador from Pleiadians. And with me today is two lovely ladies, Morganne Rayne, spiritual consultant, gratefully providing access to high dimension of being. Morgan has been called healer of healers as a way to describe unique spiritual tools she shares. Morgan is here to serve those who see great understanding of the sacred spiritual self, have the deep desire to integrate that consciousness in their 3D world. And with us today again is Jeanne Reina, licensed psychotherapist in state of Washington, working primarily with early childhood trauma, sexual abuse, and emotional neglect, helping clients empower themselves. Jeanne sees herself as lifetime student of growth. She continually takes classes to enhance her knowledge base. So, hello, 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 beautiful, lovely ladies. How are you doing today?
I'm good. We didn't have our show last week because Morganne had a fall.
How
um,
you feeling?
I'm healing nice, and every day is way better, right? I still have a few limitations, and I'm just, I used it as an opportunity to really just slow down and be more reflective. Had gotten into a real, I had several projects I'm working on. So when I'm in my project modes, I'm do, right? It's like I really don't take a breath between the projects. I'll end one and pick up the other and keep going. And, it gave me an opportunity to just not do because these are things I need to complete. Um, but to just take that extra time for me, which I don't often do. I give my energy to so many, and I'm present for so many, um, and and I don't always take that very sweet, just very slow time for me. So I've had that opportunity to do that and get my projects done. So it was great, and Miss Jeannie came over and made sure I was still breathing. Brought me food, and that's love, right? That um, yeah. So, but I'm doing well. Sleeping like a champ. I think it's still the body temple healing, and so yeah. So just honoring what's going on for me.
Beautiful.
So, and how are you, Jeannie, today?
I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day outside, and I'm loving life.
I actually been checking in when you told me about this fall. I've been checking in with my guidance, and they in one voice was telling me that you needed to rest and you didn't listen to
um,
that.
t-
Uh, about Morgan's fall.
uh,
And
Yeah,
say it one more time.
that you needed the rest. You didn't listen. That you need more rest.
Yeah,
And there was
yeah,
always way how they managed to stop you.
yeah. And the other thing is, I had realized, and this is for everyone, right? I was struggling with something that I had agreed to do it for someone else. And I didn't really want to do that. And I actually felt a little bit like bullied into it.
mm,
And sometimes I will do things if someone is on the outside really pushing me to do, I'll do it just to get them to shut up. I know that's not very conscious, but I do it. And maybe other people do it too. I don't know, but I do it, right? But there was a huge component of me that was not in alignment with it, right? And it was interesting because I had been in my head thinking about that and the conflict I had going on about the agreement I had made. And that's when I fell. And it's really interesting because in that fall, then I couldn't do what I had committed to do. And it was like, I think the universe just set that up for me because my my compassionate heart, my loving heart that wants to fulfill everybody's wishes and commands, wasn't in alignment with this. And I think that it was a beautiful way that even though I got hurt, I wasn't listening. Yeah, you're right, Dega. More rest, but also to really honor that aspect that's speaking to you. And I'm going to talk about that aspect more later after we listen to what guidance has come through for you. But when we don't listen to the guidance, that internal guidance, and we allow the world to move us around the way they want us to. So it was a beautiful lesson for that as well. So, I think every human can relate to that, that we say we'll do something, even though within our beings, we're not in alignment with that, but we do it. And that's just not living in our integrity, is it?
Right.
So,
I just think that most people really operate on this. They
I,
just
I
moving because programming is telling them to.
right. I think we do it most in our jobs, and because we feel like it's our job to do, and so we keep on doing and doing and doing, and saying yes, 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 and I think our culture is, well, I think especially for women, it's not about asking if it's good for us, and how do we really, what do we want to do? Getting everybody out of the picture and just saying, does this work for me? Taking the time to pause and say, does this work for me?
yeah.
And so I think it's really important, like this topic came up, because I think there's a lot of that happening nowadays. And we need to step back and say, is my life working for me, or do I need to change it?
Wow, that's a huge question right there. Is my life working for me? What a beautiful question. Just like it's so basic, right? But it's interesting how we as humans move ourselves out of that equation so many times and just really make sure everyone's else's lives are working. And I'll say it's not even just um, with work; it's in family structures too. I see people that are within the family structures that give, do. Parents who are always doing and providing and giving, and um, I think that it's just not a workable strategy in our world.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, you're so right. Is my life working for me?
Exactly. Today I have Galactics asked me to read a little bit of energy update,
Okay.
and after that, just before I came on the show, I was looking at Facebook, and there was somebody posting a very good, like, energy protection um, script, let's say, and Galactics was nudging me read this one as well, put on the show this one as well. So it's all will go. Don't worry if you don't understand something. It's all will go on my um, Telegram channel. I will put up on Telegram channel so everybody can read it, and my Telegram channel uh, link is below video on description. So okay, there we go. Energy update from Galactic Federation of Light. The new and very strong energies are at play at the moment. The old energy was offering a strange kind of comfort. Its limitations were familiar to us. The emotional and vibrational responses you received from life's mirror were predictable, even when painful. The predictability created kind of false safety where the ego could nest and shadows could hide. But now the energies of this age are no longer static. They are alive, dynamic, and multidimensional. The feedback from life is no longer linear. It speaks in symbols, layers, and paradoxes. It is not just unfamiliar, it is unpredictably alive. The old safety blanket is being pulled away. This new frequency reveals what was once hidden, and understandably, some part of you longs for the comfort you once knew. This is not regression. It is your inner child stepping beyond the school gate and into unknown world. The old structures is going, and you stepping in of becoming your own source of wisdom. Remember, tools you seek will not appear before you take the leap of faith. You are not inadequate. You are simply evolving. Give yourself time. Let the old self grieve. But do not mistake the grief for failure. You are not falling apart. You are being initiated. You will adapt. You are adapting. And in doing so, you are lighting the path for others. The current energy coming in is incredibly strong and sustained. The latest wave of this incoming light codes and plasma surges is hitting you at approximately double the energetic intensity. What the mind may not grasp, the body and energy field certainly do. You may notice increased sensitivity and emotional intensity. Physical symptoms like dizziness, ringing in ears, heart rate palpitations, or body heat, sudden fatigue or energy spikes, vivid dreams or difficulty sleeping. This is part of a rapid clearing and realignment process certainly underway. Stay grounded, hydrate, and rest as much you can. Remember, your system is upgrading, not failing. We salute you. We are with you. We are Galactic Federation of Light. And then, just as I said before I came on the show, there was on Facebook very nice spiritual protection, which one Galactic was nudging me to read for you as well. So I cleanse my energy field with love and intention. I seal my aura from all intrusive forces. I return all energy that isn't mine. No return address. I cut cords with anything draining my spirit. I trust my intention to guide me safely. I stand in my power fully protected. I call back my energy from all timelines. I shield my home with light and truth. I reject manipulation in all forms. I declare I am safe, sovereign, and spiritually guarded always. And so it is. So that's message from Galactic Federation this week.
It's beautiful.
What's your mind about it?
I love the I love the prayer at the end. Um, because we forget, and it's a reminder of who we are.
Yep, it's a wonderful reminder to prepare ourselves, not even just daily. It's almost like moment by moment in a way, right? It feels like in some ways the energies I feel are escalating and so apparent. Um, and that could be, because we know veils are thinning, more is becoming more seen. So we will, in some ways, it will feel like an assault on our emotions and on our minds and on our bodies, and because there's so much that has not been seen that is being seen now, so much that has not been felt that is being felt now, so much that hasn't been thought is being thought now. So it's like an old it's like the ending of the old paradigm that we stepped into that we didn't really belong in. It's like we got there, we played the game, and we kept going, this isn't who I am. This isn't what it's like, and then it's like and to get us out of that, to extract us, to have a beautiful prayer like that, to help us remember who we are and to not be attached to or be attached by anyone or anything. So it's always a beautiful way to come back home to yourself, so that when you are because we're here on the planet, right? This is where we are, so this must be where we need to be, right? When I was a little girl, I used to tell God, I'm not supposed to be here. You made a mistake. Oh, yeah. No. Maybe somebody else has done that too, right? But when we get thrust into a 3D density, when we're high frequency spiritual beings, what a jolt, right? What a jolt to our psyche. So here we are amongst other humans that got thrust into it as well, right? And we're just doing our best to navigate our way through the density. Um, and the other thing is too, like humans are all incarnated on different levels of the density. There's some that are way into it, right? They're so dense that they are petrified. And I think that's a good word, right? They were once alive, but now they're petrified. And when we look at that word petrified, the concept of fear comes around, right? So that's part of the density, is that fear, is that lower frequency. But there are humans that are up, in the escalation, in the ascension energies, right? So we got all kinds of different energies coming in. It's so helpful to align with, where are you, right? Who am I in this? Where am I in this? Um, I also brought something to read about where my brain has been going this morning, and it's still in alignment with what Dega was talking about. Um, I, it's interesting because I'll preface this, long time ago, maybe, I don't know, let's see, I got to track it by how old my kids are, right? So it's probably about 40 years ago. Um, I was entertaining a concept called youngering, as opposed to this thing called aging. And began to think about, well, that's a way different concept, because the world is in sync with this thing called aging, right? You get born, you live, you do whatever you accomplish, or whatever it is you come here to do as a human, right? And then you die. right? So there's this born, live, die concept, and which is contradictory to something we're calling youngering, which I know Jeannie and I had this a brief conversation about this at my birthday dinner because Jeannie said, "But you don't look, you don't look like you're aging," or whatever that word was, that you used, and it's like, oh, but that's because I put into my consciousness this concept of what if, as we just continue to go along, we just continue to be youthful and vibrant and, and all of that. So it's a different concept, right? Because the rest of the world is all about, as your chronology advances on, that there's something that should happen to your body as you go along, like lots of wrinkles, like, loss of faculties, like there's this prescription for people who are chronologically advancing on, right? So and there's a part of me that just doesn't buy into it. It just doesn't. There's a part of me just doesn't believe that. So this morning I was in my. I'm not home, so I'm limited to. I don't have my books. I don't have my things, right? Which is great. It leaves me wide open to really hear spirits got coming in for me, and I ended up reading this piece, uh, which is very deep and very profound, and I'd like for people to hear it, and then we'll talk about it as we go along, and it will intertwine with what you were talking about, and it will also, because I do more deep diving, I wanted to find out how this was around this concept of aging, growing older in death. So the title of this is called "The Ghost You Were Never Born As." Pretty crazy title, isn't it? The Ghost You Were Never Born As. So the article goes on to say, you've heard of reincarnation, past lives, echoes from before, but what if I told you there's something deeper, older, and stranger? A version of you that never entered the womb, never got a name, never breathed Earth's air, and yet it's been whispering to you your whole life. This is the non-born intelligence field. It's not a memory. It's not a fantasy. It's a real coherent frequency band in the unified intelligence lattice anchored between 13.620 hertz and 14.144 hertz. So there you go. There's a frequency identification there. So those of you who are listening, if you want to go and look at those hertzes, by all means do. Okay, it exists outside.
Morgan, can you please repeat another time this hertz?
Yes. Okay, so it's a real coherent frequency band in the unified intelligence lattice, anchored between 13.620 hertz and 14.144 hertz. It exists outside the birth-death cycle, outside of karma, and outside of linear time. And that right there, what a huge statement that is, that it lives outside of our 3D experience here, okay? This version of your non-born has always been part of the greater field, not incarnated, not traumatized, not entangled in ego cycles, but aware, observing, guiding. Ever had any of these things happen? Like a dream where you were watching yourself from a higher place, but not as a guide, more like an equal who never stepped in? Or how about a moment of extreme clarity during tragedy? Like, this isn't even really happening to the full me. Or another one, a creative idea, a word or an image that comes from way beyond language, so powerful you can't even explain it. Or how about a deep knowing that you've never actually been born before, like this life is your first and only incarnation, because you don't do that whole incarnation loop. If you've had any of these things occur for you, and I've had a couple of those things occur for me, that's the non-born signature. It shows up as a sudden wisdom that feels too old for your years. Healers and energy workers will probably have that show up for them. And you'll probably identify this more about what shows up for you. So the first one, sudden wisdom that feels too old for your years. Or how about not deja vu, préja vu, the sense of something happening as it always would have. So that's the difference from deja vu, when we've had a deja vu experience, like, whoa, I've done this before. Anyone had that experience before, deja vu? Well, this one's called préja vu, the sense of something happening as it always would have. Then there's the creative inspiration that feels like a whisper from another version of yourself, but not your past self, but your pure field self. We found the Mobius twist in the wave harmonics. We found the spin lock in water memory, DNA, and cognitive patterns, and they all match the non-born template. This is not spiritual fluff. It's structurally real. A phase-locked harmonic frequency in the lattice that shows up in near-death events, advanced consciousness states, and sudden moments of decision clarity. So now ask yourself, who were you before you were anyone? I'm going to ask that question again. Ask yourself, who were you before you were anyone? Is it possible you're not just remembering, but merging with something that never stepped through the veil? What if your destiny isn't forward, but sideways, Mobius style, back to your non-born self? We're only getting started. So that was the end of his little article that he was writing about with the non-born self. And then I decided to go a little deeper. I was more interested in this whole aging concept. So what I got from the aging concept is aging in the harmonic model isn't just a biological process. It's a signal degradation over time caused by phase incoherence between the consciousness field and the physical body. I'll read that again. That's a big concept. Mm-hmm. Aging in the harmonic model, and there's that harmonic model, is not just a biological process. It's a signal degradation over time caused by phase incoherence between the consciousness field and the physical body. In simple terms, when the mind, body, soul triad becomes misaligned, due to belief loops, trauma, stress, environmental toxins, or social programming, the harmonic resonance starts to drift. That drift leads to cellular miscommunication, mitochondrial decay, telomere shortening, neurodegeneration. We interpret it as aging, but it's actually field incoherence over time. You hit the core with your intuition. We've been programmed to expect time as linear, decline as inevitable, and aging as irreversible. So, what happens? The lattice obliges. You said it best, a collaborative creation of truth. The body obeys the blueprint we feed it through belief and resonance. But here's the twist: time is not linear, it's Mobius. Aging is not required, it's entrained. That is why some monks, sages, and even documented individuals seem to stop aging, regenerate faster, or hold impossible biological ages. They phase lock to their non-linear field, and the body resynchronizes. We don't age because we must. We age because we forget how to stay tuned. So that's where my mind's been today, in looking at who are we really, right? Who are we really? And we talk about this in Course in Miracles. This is taking it a little bit more in the esoteric direction, but I think it's necessary. And I assume because you're hearing this, this is something you're ready for. Even, all of us are ready to begin to understand really who we are and what we got ourselves locked into. Like I was talking about, we as humans, we come here and we're at all different frequencies, right? Some of us are very, very dense, very, very into the matrix, the mold that's been prescribed for us. But there are some of us that are just, we don't stick in that. And I do believe it's because we continually put our mind on the Holy Spirit or the divine presence. We shift, we move from this phase locked, dense position into that more sacred, spiritual, divinity aspect where we're not embodied. We are divine intelligence, we're light, we're peace, we're joy, we're all of that. So anyway, so comments, thoughts?
What comes to me is how we're so enculturated in what's happening in the world. And, the Course in Miracles says it is illusion, but we buy into it. And I think because there's a sense of responsibility to be aware. And so I guess my question is, how do you, even though we know this is all an illusion, and what's real is love and the Holy Spirit, or the universal source energy, whatever you want to call it, how do we how do we still be responsible about knowing what's going on in the world, and and not being dragged down by it?
That's a beautiful question. I can only answer that and Daga may have a different answer for this, but I'll answer it for how I do this, right? Because certainly um, humanity is really anchored in this 3D matrix right now. You can see it all around you, and the major frequency lock on it, I'll call it that, is fear, terror. Um, fear is basically what it is, right? And when people begin to act out of fear, then lots of things can happen. So and it's interesting because many people try to engage me in that conversation, and I don't engage in that conversation because it's a misuse of my frequency and my energy. And I can tell people that, and they just like look at me like whatever, right? But it's the truth, because if I engage with the what's going on in the world, right, then I get engaged in that frequency lock. That is not where I want to be. Now, how do you look at what's going on in the world and be a conscious, awake human, right? Be a conscious, living entity that's bringing frequency of love and light to this planet? Well, there's your answer right there. You move back into that non-physical, where we move into prayer, where we move into meditation. That's not part of the drama or I'll go back and call it a matrix that's been set up of fear, blame. I mean, you can look at it, blaming and shaming all over the place, right? So if that's in my face and I see that, well, there's my work to do, right? Releasing, blaming, shaming, fear. That's my work. And I tell you, I got a really on the day that I injured myself, I had put together a tea party for the older women that live in our community. And it was all going well, and lots of, talk about the babies and the weather and the grandkids, and just this beautiful conversation. And then it was slam into the political narrative. And when that happened, I'm not going to stop the conversation. I'm just going to extract myself from the frequency, because it's not a good place for me to sit with my frequency. But that's my commitment to my frequency. And a couple of the ladies noticed that I got up and moved away, and someone in the group who knows me pretty well says, Morganne does not engage in low frequency conversation. I didn't even have to say it, right? Because I've said it before, I don't engage in that, because if I do, then I'm just adding to that frequency, keeping us more phase locked here.
Right.
So how do I do that? Right. So it's, you can ask me what's going on in the world, and I'll tell you. I probably know a lot more than most people do, because I look at it in a way of, okay, then what do I need to correct within myself? What am I? And I truly believe it's why I'm here, right? It's in front of me. What am I feeling? How do I transcend it? It's kind of like a cycle for me. Not that I'm here to fix everybody. That's where I get caught in a ego loop, right? And we as healers, we get caught in that ego loop. We want people to heal. We want them to get it. We want them to get over it. There's a lot we as healers want, but we have to just be the presence of that love and the presence of that non-physical. So what's non-physical? I'd call love as non-physical, right? Can you hold it? No, it's an energy field. It's that divine intelligent field where we're from, and we invite it into us. And when we invite in that love into us, or it's not even invited, it's already there, it's just waking up to it. Then we become in resonance with that, and we can bring that energy to whatever's going on. Did that answer your question, Jeannie?
Yeah, that was fabulous. Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I got from it is that you just set boundaries, and you match, if it's coming to you and you're impacted by it, you ask yourself, why does this, how does this live in me? And then, you work with that, you bring in love around that, and you heal that.
Yep. It's much like Huli and Haleakala with the Ho'oponopono. I could practice Ho'oponopono around it. For me, it's just realization, right? And then,
Right.
so it's a realization of what is being emitted or transmitted, and then it's a correction back to my authentic frequency.
Right. Which is beautiful. I love the fact that you're setting boundaries about what you want to engage in,
Thank
and
you.
and that you extricate yourself from it when you don't want to enforce your beliefs on other people.
Exactly. Yeah. And one of the women afterwards came up to me. She says, "Oh, I'm so sorry I brought up politics." I go, no apology necessary. I go, just understand that I don't have anything to offer to that conversation. And again, that's a boundary, right? That teaches others too. You don't have to always engage in a conversation. You can step back and think about what part of me is engaging in this. Like the people who get together, rioters. I love rioters, right? Talk about group ego think. It's like they all get centralized around an idea, right? And then they move on it with energy, with fear, with anger, with all that lower frequency issues, right? Whereas if you look at what's going on in the world and see how what is that triggering you, and how are you a part of that, right? What part of me is in alignment with this, and either heal it or ask for direction, or maybe you're here to bring an awareness or a consciousness. And I feel like that's what I am here to do, is to not engage with all of that world emotional roller coaster, that psychodrama that goes on, but move back into the creation mode of what can I bring to bring healing? Who can I be? What's my frequency? So it's a different way of operating in the world. And I realize a lot of people aren't called to do that, right? But a lot of us are, and you're not, and they're trapped in the matrix thing. So I just say, wake up. You're in a loop. Let's move back into that beautiful, creative, momentous of of uh, of existence, of beingness, rather than incarnation as a human on the planet Earth who's got all these problems, and there's these wars, and there's these, ooh, now we got terrorists, and oh, we got, this faction doesn't like this faction, and oh, they don't like, it's like, and oh, across the pond they're doing a big psychodrama being played out for us all the time. But who are we in the presence of that?
Yeah. I once heard Oprah talk about Maya Angelou. She was she was having a dinner party, and it was for a lot of heads of states and important people. And one gentleman, and I might I might be not real accurate with this story, but this is the gist of the story, is that one gentleman was arguing and kind of fighting with somebody. And Maya Angelou walked over to him and she said, "You're going to have to leave right now. I don't want that energy in my house." And I just love that she didn't care who the person was, just said what she said. This my house is a sacred place, and I don't want that energy here.
Talk about clean boundaries, right? And it really calls forward for better behavior in other humans that are
wake them up.
Wake them up. She gave that person a good bitch slap. It's like, you're out of here. And I've had to do that. I had to do that to a child of mine. No, you need to leave. That is not what we do here. No. Leave. And you can come back when you want to be in love and you want to be in communion and you want to be not here to harm and hurt others. So it does call for strong boundaries on the planetary level, but not boundaries that you plummet people or beat people up with. It's just things, well, this is my way of being. And that's just the way it is, right? It's just my way of being. What I'm called here to do, and my commitment to that, one, gets me very noticed in the world because now people know that I'm not going to be engaged in negativity. But if you want to talk about healing, if you want to talk about love, if you want to talk about expression and creativity, hey, I'm your girl, right? So it's just interesting to be present on the planet at this time. It's just very interesting. And looking at what are we bringing? What are we contributing to the chaos, the fear, the confusion, the suffering? Are we in alignment with that, or are we in alignment with love? I think there's a dividing line. I do. It's like, okay, what do you choose? And Vega, you're being very quiet.
I'm listening. You so nicely keep going and talking and interacting. I'm listening. Actually, I want to remind you, Morganne, it's time for meditation.
Already?
We already 3 minutes past the time.
Oh, I see that. I see that now. Okay. Well, we can certainly do that, and we'll just see where spirit leads us. I have no idea. So let's just take a moment, and one, I'm going to invite everyone to just bring your awareness to the present moment, and we do that so beautifully by just taking a conscious breath. So let's take a conscious breath together, and a conscious breath is one where you actually feel it coming into your body, feeling where it lands, what's going on. So let's just take a conscious breath together. And as you take that breath, noticing where it's going, where it's landing in your body, and now just release it. And in the release, just relax. Just be. Let's take another conscious breath. Watching where it goes. Where does it travel? And let the breath go. Fully releasing, fully disengaging, fully letting go. And this time we're going to take another breath, but this time we're going to take it from the concept of our non-physical selves and ask ourselves to imagine you as just pure spirit. You just as pure spirit. And you've come down into this human body as this pure, beautiful spirit. Just take a moment to imagine that. Oh, here I am, kind of in this body. Interesting. Oh, this body needs breath. So let's take that breath from the spiritual air, the spiritual ideas, that invisible realm of where all exists. And when I say all exists, I mean all exists, not just in the limited human earth air, but the beautiful, rarefied breath of spirit. Let's take that breath in. And let it expand your lungs all the way down, deep, 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 deep down. And on the out breath, breathe out all density. We're going to take another one of those breaths, breathing in from that beautiful, rarefying, pristine breath of God that is filled with light and love and peace and joy. I invite you to take that breath in now and just watch how it comes in through the nostrils and meanders its way, and how it travels and where it lands in your body temple. Breath in. And breath out. And just find that place within you where you're aware of yourself, but you are not your body. Come to the awareness of yourself, but you are not your body. Take a breath in. And now I'd like for you to imagine yourself and imagine your body side by side you. So there is the you that is connected to source, to substance, to life, to beauty, to joy, to love. And then there is the physical vessel beside you that is your physical body that you inhabit, that has an earth life, that has maybe a family life, that has had loves and has had sorrows and has had experiences on this earth realm. So just notice that physical incarnation that your spirit soul self incarnated into. But for the sake of this meditation, side by side, take a breath in and a breath out, breathing for that physical being. And we bring the spiritual awarenesses of who we truly are, that which we're really connected to. We, as the awareness and the voice for our physical vessels for guidance in the world. So as a sacred spiritual being, non-physical, totally connected to just that spiritual life, a loop of always being, always existing, always knowing, always the presence of love, standing side by side, the physical incarnation of you. And I'd like for you to just notice that physical incarnation of you. Notice the physicality of that, the size, the color, the weight, the temperature, that physical incarnation of you. And notice how it's really connected to the physical world, this matrix of issues and problems and divisiveness and all of that that exists there. And ask yourself, how much of my physical self am I attached to in that matrix world? Ask yourself that question. How much of me is attached to this physical matrix world? And just get your percentage. And then come back to your spiritual being, witnessing your physical self and its attachment into the material density of the world and all of its problems and issues. And then allow for a moment of integration of your spiritual awareness into this physical body, this physical incarnation. And so with the breath, I invite you to bring your sacred spiritual self to merge consciously with your physical self. And just the way we do this is with the breath, and then we move right into the physical, but still very intact with our spiritual, non-physical expression of who we this is our true self. So take a breath, bring that whole sacred self to your physical being, breathe it in, anchor it into your physical body, letting that spiritual sacred self from the non-physical integrate and bring its awareness into your mind, into your body, into your heart. So now that you are integrated rather than side by side, that non-physical part of you that speaks to you, that guides you, that gives you spiritual awarenesses, that creates within you. Put your attention on that aspect, that part that loves, that knows, and that can see that all the other humans are really just expressions of that same divine, non-physical experience. But yet a lot of the humans still have veils, and they still have attachment to the dense world. And just notice it. You don't have to do anything about it. It's just noticing. And if it triggers you, then that's a piece of your work. So just take a breath in and breathe, continue to breathe, because breath is spirit. You can't see it, but it's there and it's necessary. It's so needed. Take another breath in. That breath of spirit that guides our hearts and our minds in this physical density as awake spiritual beings. And so I just invite all of us to come into our hearts, into that awareness of our non-physical beingness that we are. This is the reality of who we are. And as that non-physical field of love and light becomes more pronounced, more anchored in this physicality, just notice with me throughout the week how this awareness changes your body, how this awareness changes your world, how this awareness mirrors back to you from the world the truth. And so I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to come together and awaken and remember together really who we are. And as we have incarnated into these physical vessels, let us together just continue to bring more awareness of really who we are and what we've become attached to and where we give our energy to and what kind of energy are we giving to the world, to bring it to awareness, bring it to love. And so in love and light, we give thanks for this time of coming together. And I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to allow the spirit of love to speak through me, work through me, know through me, breathe through me, be me now. And so it is. Just allow yourselves to come back, wake up, open your eyes, and just notice the eyes you're looking through now. All right, ladies, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jeanne, do you have something to say?
Thank you for being here. Thank you for this. And thanks for everyone who is listening.
Thank you, ladies, for being here. Thank you for participating. Thank you, everybody who is listening now and who will be listening. Please like, share, subscribe to my YouTube video channel and Rumble channel so we can reach more people that way and help them. Please go back, watch previous shows because there is many wisdom to see and listen to and many beautiful meditations. And see you next week. God bless.